Napoleon, please.
Napoleon.
Don't go into
Napoleon.
Ah, I have no choice. I will fulfill my dream.
It was early 1812, and Europe was mostly at peace. Napoleon, the undisputed master of the continent, controlled territories stretching from Spain to Poland. Over the coming months, however, France became the scene of significant military preparations. New recruits were called up, army corps were reorganized, and forces were gradually moved to the eastern edge of Napoleon's domain. The reason behind this mobilization was Tsar Alexander's refusal to endure the economic effects of Napoleon's Continental Blockade against Great Britain indefinitely. Trade with Britain was essential for Russia's economy, so the Tsar reopened his ports to British ships, a move Napoleon saw as a betrayal. On June 24th, the largest army ever assembled to that date crossed the Niemen River into Russian territory. Due to the immense size of the French forces, the crossing took 5 full days. Napoleon's army was divided into several smaller forces. The Emperor himself led 227,000 men at the Niemen, with 2 auxiliary armies on his flanks. Eugène de Beauharnais commanded 80,000 on the right, while Jérôme Bonaparte led 76,000 at Grodno. Alongside them was Schwarzenberg's Austrian contingent of 30,000, observing Russian movements in the south. On the far left, Jacques MacDonald and Johann Yorck led a Prusso-Polish force of 40,000. In total, around 450,000 men, led by the most successful general of all time, entered Russia with apparent certainty of victory. However, before long, something inevitable happened, something Napoleon's advisors like Armand de Caulaincourt, who had served as a diplomat in St. Petersburg, had warned him about. Aware they couldn't beat Napoleon in open battle, the Russians implemented a scorched earth policy. Retreating while destroying all resources along the way, they denied the enemy both supplies and a decisive fight. This strategy deprived Napoleon of the chance to employ his hallmark rapid march tactics, which relied on foraging. Communication within the Grande Armée was hindered by the large number of foreign soldiers. Maintaining the huge supply train proved challenging, and young conscripts, unaccustomed to long daily marches in the summer heat, frequently fell ill or deserted. After just 1 month, the army had already suffered 100,000 casualties, mostly from desertion. As Napoleon pushed deeper into Russia, only encountering minor skirmishes, one might wonder, why didn't he simply stop? By mid-August, Napoleon had taken the major city of Smolensk in a fierce battle, while his flanks had repelled Russian counterattacks. It was already late in the campaign season, so wintering in Smolensk seemed a viable option, especially since the army was now only 50% of its original strength. Napoleon actually considered halting the campaign for the year here, but as we know, he ultimately decided not to. To understand why, we must try to get inside his mind. Europe hadn't united under his rule out of devotion, but largely out of fear and the sheer might of the French Empire. Any sign of weakness would have emboldened European powers like Austria and Prussia, who secretly longed for an end to French dominance and were reluctant to engage in Napoleon's campaign against the Tsar. Additionally, General Kutuzov, the new commander of Russian forces, would have tried to make Napoleon's stay as lethal as possible. Cossack raids would have persisted, and wintering such a vast army would have been challenging. Retreating to Poland, while likely less disastrous than the infamous winter retreat, would still have involved severe hardships. Due to the Russian strategy, Napoleon's army was doomed from the moment it entered Russian soil, and the situation only worsened the farther they advanced. Stopping the campaign earlier might have spared some French, German, Polish, and Italian lives, as events like Borodino or the Berezina disaster might not have occurred in the same way. Nonetheless, by 1813, even if Napoleon had remained undefeated in Russia, his campaign would have been remembered as a monumental failure, fueling his many enemies across Europe.